Is fresh for the most part. I'm going to keep this deli tray to put the chicken bits back on when I have them cut off of the chicken. So we'll just put those right back up on here. I also have the stock pot already full of water, enough that I think all the chicken bones will fit. Yeah, so that's just cold water, ready to go, so I didn't have to make a bunch of noise earlier. Alright, so the first step in breaking down chicken is probably moving a camera to the overhead area of where we're breaking down chicken. Is this going to work? Is this okay? That's going to have to work for now. Okay, so I always snip the skin around the legs. And then you're going to want to break the legs outwards. So just grab on under the leg and just push out. This dejoints the back leg of the chicken. And just kind of trim along through that joint. You can see where the bone sticks out. You can see where it connects into the other bone. There we have one chicken leg. You always want to work from the same side. So since I'm right-handed, I always want to be cutting from the right instead of like, on the other side where my hand is on the bird. I want my knife against the chicken. So then just looking in, finding where that joint is. Whoop. Another chicken leg. Give the knife a bit of a wipe. Alright, now you have this guy. And if I was going to do like a crown roast of chicken, which we're going to do next week, I would basically cut right here. So this is the back. This is the back of the chicken. Here's the breasts. I would cut straight down here, and you'd like leave the ribs and all this connected to the breasts so that you can roast it in a pan. And it is very it adds a lot to the. Oh my God, I forgot to take out all the giblets and stuff. Scrub Lord number 1. And this one, it is a fresh chicken, but you can kind of get away with like a hard chill is basically frozen. So the back of this chicken is a little frozen. That's why I can't get any of this shit out from the inside. So yeah, they usually have like the neck. Oh, I was just saying, you always want to keep your knife on the. You always want to work from the same side. So because I took this leg off on this side, I flipped the bird around like this, so that you're still working in the same sort of motion instead of flipping over and doing it this way. Yeah, it's Twitch. I haven't dropped any more frames. Okay. So now, I'm just going to cut the breasts off now. And the easiest way to do that is just find the keel bone, which is the very hard bit right in the back. Come along one side of it. Make sure I'm on the right side. And you can just basically follow the bone all the way down. Like it will, the chicken will kind of tell you where to cut it. Cut out all this connective bullshit back here. Coming in from the back. And I'm going to go around the wing bone. So that's one chicken breast with a wing attached still. And then, like I said, just always working from the same side. Flip the chicken around, find the keel bone again. I always like to kind of cut out. Just make a nice pathway for yourself where you're not going to be tripping over all that skin that's still connected to the chicken. And then cutting past these bones. And you have another breast. And this is what we're going to make stock out of. This is the back, the ribs, all the inside bits. Well, all the inside bone bits. There's not actually anything left inside the chicken. The farms take care of that. And then I'm basically just going to trim off a lot of the kind of this skin and fat, because when you're making stock, you don't want any fat. Well, you want as little fat as possible, because that's what you're trying to. You're not trying to make, you're not trying to render fat. You're trying to make a really nice, flavorful stock out of the meat and the bones. So, yeah, just all this nice white fat. And you could render this down and cook potatoes in it. Generally, chicken fat's not super good for that. I'd use duck fat. But all poultry is broken down pretty much the same way. So goose, turkey, chickens. There's just very varying sizes of poultry. All right, so this is what we're going to work with for the stock. But I'm just going to trim off these wings real quick. So easy, just slice along the breast. You can see where the wing attaches into that muscle. Make sure you're not going to slice out all the skin, because that's nice to roast. And then just right off. And then, you can break these down into chicken wing pieces, but that's another day when we make chicken wings. Actually, this skin's looking kind of gross. So I generally try to leave the skin on, just because it's really nice when you crisp it up in a pan. But it's definitely not, it does carry quite a bit of fat in the skin. So if you want to go skinless variety, that's always good too. So for this, I'm going to wash my hands very quickly. So always, of course, when you're working with poultry, make sure that you're washing your hands between each task, just so that you're not, contaminating yourself or your loved ones, or, especially in a restaurant, it was contaminating all the old people with terrible immune systems. So now I'm just going to break this down into more usable bits. So using a chef knife, I always just go right through the back. So you have this little guy, and I cut the ribs out. Usually a bit easier. There we go. Cool. One final little thing. All right. So now what we're ready to do. Just put these guys over here. This can go directly into a pot of cold water. And we're going to bring these up slowly. And I'll move the camera back here in a second after I get all of this cleaned up. So move this guy back over here without it getting caught on a bunch of stuff. And then I use like the towel that I have under the cutting board so it doesn't slide. I'll just use that to just wipe up, whatever's left behind. And you can break down chickens on a wood board. You just have to be very, very careful about cleaning it afterwards. So, and we can go over cleaning cutting boards at some point. All right, so then the next bit is going to be all the vegetables that we're going to need. So the trusty chef knife comes back. First thing is going to be onion. Fastest way to break down an onion for stock. find the bit that would come out of the ground, opposed to the root bit. Make yourself 2 halves with the root still intact. This will keep all the petals of the onion attached to each other. Make it really easy to peel off the outside. Sometimes the first layer will come with you. That's okay. The outer layers are obviously the oldest and have, I think, less to offer as far as flavor. So no big deal there. For stock, since it cooks so long, you want your vegetables to be in very large pieces. So for stock, usually I'll just cut this guy in thirds. And just like that. So you have nice chunks. And since you're not trying to properly cook the vegetables, all of the vegetables for stock can go in just one container. But you don't want to add your vegetables to the chicken until the chicken has been cooked off, all the fat is rendered out, and you've skimmed away all of this crud that's going to be floating to the surface. Because that's the stuff that doesn't taste very good. So we're going to do... I know the recipe that I wrote calls for 2 chickens, but that's the bones of 2 chickens. So I'm actually, come to think of it, I'm going to throw the legs in and the wings, because I mean there's really good flavor in all of that stuff. And I'm actually cooking my parents' dinner after this, so I'm going to save what is this? Whatever. I'm going to save the breasts for dinner. Again, always keeping hands clean. Always keeping your hands clean. And the reason I wear 2 side towels, I can kind of show you this. I use one to keep my hands dry during service. So, obviously sometimes you're using a bit moist meat, vegetables, whatever it is, keeping one hand dry and then having one for pans and stuff. Sorry, my internet is dipping in and out this evening.